Hey, what's going on, y'all? Just wanted to kind of talk about Swizz Beats and the Timbaland battle as I drive through the country. Basically, I thought it was okay. It was all right. And it wasn't as energetic and kind of dope as I would have wanted it to be real with you. But that was a couple of reasons. I think the first major reason was the crowd clearly wasn't like they weren't really into it like that. And you could tell it wasn't the right crowd for that shit. I don't know why Swizz decided to do it at that particular point. I think it was a kind of a bad move because when I looked at the Summer Jam performers, the artists, I mean, these are guys that personally, like, I don't give a single fuck about any of them. They're so far removed from my era. But aside from that, they're like the whack niggas from this era that I wouldn't listen to. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if Playboy was there. Like, if Playboy was there, I would have, I would probably have gone or some shit. You know what I'm saying? If ASAP Rocky was there, I would have checked it out. Or 21 Savage, right? These are dudes in this era that I actually fuck with, right? But 6ix9ine and a bunch of dudes, like, I don't give a fuck about them niggas, man. And J. Cole or whoever, I don't know. I just remember looking at the list and thinking that it was kind of weak. So, and they're not, again, these are the guys that don't make rugged ass hip hop. They don't make hip hop stuff. Like, they're just new niggas that make pop or that kind of R&B-ish type shit. So, you don't want Swizz being in that kind of company. Because Swizz makes hip-hop ass shit. Like, his stuff is hard. Like, Timbaland shit is hard too. I mean, it's a little bit more R&B-ish, but it's hard. Like, that's a different era almost, It's a different feel. So I kind of thought it wasn't gonna work anyway, because you could see the crowd was just not really into it. Like, they had a bunch of people that were kind of up front, that were kind of, maybe hired participation, but the crowd seemed a little bit dead to me. I'm gonna be 100 with you. It seemed wild dead. It almost reminds me of why the Swizz Beats and Just Blaze battle was better, because that was in a room, and even though there was way less people, it was more of a certain audience to a certain degree. It wasn't like kids, and there was more energy between Just and Swizz. So my overall opinion is, it was kind of even, but the reality is that in a real battle, Timbaland will destroy Swizz, and I love both of them dudes, right? Like, to me, Swizz is probably in my top 6 producers. Sometimes it's like 5 or 6 with me. He's definitely, in my opinion, a top 10 all-time hip-hop producer, and then Timbaland is like top 5, easy. So, but there is a caliber difference between the two of them. Like, Timbaland didn't even really play his hot shit. Like, he played some of his hot shit, but if he started playing some of that, like, Justin Timberlake stuff from Future Sex, that was even more kind of recent compared to the stuff that Swizz was playing, it might have been over, man. And Timbaland's just got more joints. Like, there's so much shit that he could pull out. Whereas I find with Swizz has got like maximum 20 like crazy anthemic classic hip hop beats, which is a lot. Like, 20 is a lot, don't get me wrong. A lot of your favorite producers don't have 20. So, but it's there. It's like in that 20 kind of range, 30 if you stretch it. But Timbaland's got more than that. Like, crazy beats that Timbaland has, Timbaland's got to have at least 50. He's up there, man. So I think Timbaland was being nice and gracious to the dude, and being a good sport, which is nice. So it's cool to see the producers kind of get love and all that. So yeah, I thought it was okay. It was an alright battle, and I just wish that the audience was more into it, because gets to see Timbaland and Swizz battle, man. Like, I would have been in the audience just like egging them on, and be like, yo, fuck that, like, get at this nigga, man. Like, really try and get them to go there with it, like, instead of just being all friendly and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Just really be like, yo, Timbaland, like, it's getting at you right now, nigga. Like, really do it. I mean, if I was up front, especially, you know, in the front row, right? Because it's good for hip hop, man. It's always nice to see producers go at it. I mean, I liked the Swizz and Just Blaze battle a lot. I thought it was dope. I've been telling niggas that Swizz is a problem. There's this weird thing on the internet sometimes where people hit on Swizz, and I don't really get it. I think it's that sort of Alicia Keys jealousy, you know, that he's married to Alicia Keys, and also like Swizz beats' shit is like hard and off kilter, and you know, like when you're an internet nerd, sometimes that doesn't really do it for you, you know, like some of these internet nerds, they don't really listen to hip hop like that. They don't really feel it. They can't dance. You know what I mean? Like, so Swizz's shit would come on, and you know, they'd be like, I don't know, like there's no bars or or whatever goofy shit that you know, they sort of rate songs by. So I think that's why there's a little bit of hate. But I could have told you from before the battle went down that Swizz was gonna eat Just Blaze. I mean, I like Just Blaze. Again, I think Just is dope, but Swizz is in a different level, man. Like, Swizz has his own style. Like, Just Blaze doesn't really have a style, and I think shit like that will hinder you in the long run, you know? Like, Just is dope, don't get me wrong, and when he first came out, he was kind of doing that chipmunk soul with the hard drum thing. He was doing it even better than Kanye to me. But in the long run, he never really had his own thing that he was like, yo, Just is known for this kind of energy or whatever, right? And like, when you started coming on to the upper echelon of what makes a great producer, GOAT level and all that shit, you gotta have beats that are like so you know, but everyone loves it. Like, your shit has a certain energy. Like, Swizz's shit has a certain energy that's so Bronx and so hip hop and off kilter. It's just him, you know what I mean? Like, Timbaland has a certain energy. Like, his stuff is hard, but it's also kind of beautiful and mysterious, you know, and sexy. Like, Timbaland makes like the sexiest rap beats, probably, period. And that's why, to a certain degree, I think women gravitate to his shit a lot. And I think maybe because of the fact that him and Missy co-produced a lot of shit, and Missy was kind of like the genesis of his sound, and, you know, so he had that sort of female perspective, you know. But again, it's a certain energy, and like, Timbaland will do shit that's off kilter, but it's like really beautiful and sexy at the same time, and hard, you know. Like, Timbaland got some hard joints, especially when you start looking at some of the sort of gutter, like below the radar shit, like, is that your chick, and you know, stuff that was like a little bit different from the norm. So again, you gotta have your own style, man. And like, I think the problem with a dude like Just is that Just doesn't really have a style, and you'll get eaten alive when you start coming against guys like Swizz and Timbaland and shit. So anyway, good battle. Love both of them brothers, man. I think they're both dope as fuck, and they've made some of, you know, my all-time favorite music. So I was happy to see that. Anyway, I'm gonna talk to you all later.